Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk about the USA special rules that has to do with tank destroyers. So, one of the rules for tank destroyers get is kind of some of the recon rules. And basically, if they're a self-propelled anti-tank platoon, a tank destroyer platoon, or a towed tank destroyer platoon, they will get this special rule. And again, if you're not sure, you go to your arsenal, and if you look here, like towed tank destroyer platoon, down here, core tank destroyer platoon. So it tells you again in the name down here when it's tank destroyer. So again, look for those names of anti-tank, self-propelled anti-tank platoon, tank destroyer platoon, and towed tank destroyer platoon, because they're the ones that are going to get these special rules. So the special rule is they get that cautious movement like recon gets. So if they don't move at the double and don't shoot and they're concealed by terrain, they're also gone to ground, so they're harder to hit. And also their unarmored vehicles, such as their Jeeps, instead of getting a 5+ save, they get a 3+ save, just like recon gets. Take these off for the next part. Now, there's two parts to each platoon. There is what's called the security section. So and the other part is the tank destroyer section. You'll never have both on the table at the same time. You're going to have one or the other. And how you tell which is which is I'm going to go to this tank destroyer section here. I'm going to tilt this up where it's going to be a little easier to see. This is, and it says right here, this is security section, this is the tank destroyer section. So it's showing you that either you're going to have this on the table or you're going to have these on the table. And the same thing here with this towed tank destroyer platoon. Here's your security section, which is, you know, your commander in a Jeep and these two recon Jeeps. Or you're going to have these towed guns and any bazookas and extra things you buy. So you're never going to see this from this platoon. Now it could be from separate platoons, you can have this, and this other platoon will have this out. But if it's, as far as this platoon is concerned, either you're going to have this on the table or you're going to have that on the table. So those are the two sections that make up each platoon. So I'm going to bring out one security section so you kind of look at it. So here's one. And this is for, this security section is for like your tanks that I just showed you. So again, I am getting that from right here. There's the Jeep with 50 caliber, M20 Scout Car, M20 Scout Car. So that's that right there. The other one would be the ones that go with the towed, like this, and that will consist of 3 Jeeps. And again, that's going to be that command car with 50 caliber, recon Jeep, and recon Jeep. So that is the security section, and of course the meat and potatoes of your recon is either your tank destroyer section, which is going to be like these guys, or your towed, which almost look like artillery in a way, but they're straight shots normally to take out tanks. So you kind of have to understand that you're going to have one or the other on the table. You're not going to have both. And if once I have, let's say, these on the table, this is that security section for these. Once I decide to take these off and replace them with these are out of the game for the rest of the game. Okay, so I can't use these anymore. It will be the same when these 3 Jeeps are running around and I decide, ooh, I need to use these, so I'm going to bring these into the game. These will no longer be able to be used. Now these are in play. So just keep that in mind. Once you take your security section out, they won't come back. Now, you'll have to decide at the beginning of the game, do you want to start with the Jeeps, or do you want to start with them? And remember, if you start with these, those will not come back into the game. The same for these guys. Do you want to start with them, or do you want to start with the security section? And if you start with these on the table, these will be unavailable for the rest of the game. So you kind of got a choice there, and they have their pluses and minuses for having these out here compared to having the tank destroyers out there. Now, in this situation, this is the commander, and let's say he gets destroyed. Well, immediately you can designate one of these to be the platoon commander. So they're not stuck not moving anymore because they lost their platoon commander. With the tank destroyer section like this, when the security section leader is taken out, somebody else takes over. Of course, the rule of they have to be in command distance to, I should have left these out here. They should have been in command distance. So let's say this guy's here, and he's within command distance of this one, but not of that one. Well, this is going to be your new platoon commander when this one died. If this is gone, and this is beyond command distance, then you're kind of out of luck. This guy is not going to be the new platoon commander. So they do have to be in command distance, so make sure when you're moving these around, keep them, probably all of them, within command distance of this one, because in case that goes, you can choose any one of these. Because if you stretch them out like this, you even see the other one? There it is. If you stretch them out like this and this gets destroyed, well, let's say this one gets destroyed because artillery could only hit that one. They targeted that one. Then they shot this up and destroyed that. Oh, he was not in command of this one, so he does not get to be the new commander. He does not get to move for the rest of the game until first in command comes up and makes him a leader. So that is one thing to do. Be careful about your command distance with the leader of the security section. Now, if all of them are destroyed, so artillery comes down or something and destroys this whole group, what you want to do is mark where the platoon commander was destroyed. So I'm just going to put down my very expensive marker of a penny. So I put the penny down. These are gone. This will tell me where I can bring these in at. I have to bring them in around this. That's why it's important to mark that location where that was destroyed. And also, you're going to have to place these on your next turn. So this was destroyed. I mark it, and it got destroyed on the opponent's turn. Got destroyed. So on my next turn, these will have to come out. I have no choice. Once my security section is destroyed, they're going to have to come out on my next turn. So how do we get them on the board? Well, one of them was when this got destroyed. But let's say, this is still left in that platoon. This one got destroyed, but I still have this platoon going. I'm going to have to see where any one of these commanders are at, or not commanders, but any part of this platoon is at. And I do this during my starting step. So here's the starting step. And where it says deploy ambushes, that's where I'm going to make the change. So I have, and I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to do 4. So I've got these 4 tank destroyers that's part of this platoon that's going to take the place of these. These guys have been scouting around, getting into a good position because of their recon ability. I am now ready to unleash these guys onto the opponent. So what I can do is I can mark them. So I'm going to get my very expensive markers again, and I'm going to mark, and it could be from any one of these. So remember when they got destroyed, and then the last guy left was the platoon commander got destroyed, and the whole platoon's gone. I can only deploy around where this was at, but this platoon was not completely destroyed. So I have 2 locations I can choose from now. So it has to be within command distance of any of the security section. So when I put these guys down, it has to be in command distance of these. And we're going to say these guys are trained, so we need to be within 6 inches of either one of these. Well, that's really nice. If there was difficult terrain, let's say, that big shrubbery here was here, I can pop them onto the other side without even taking the bogging check. As long as it's within command distance. Boom, he's over there. I don't have to do that bogging check. That's nice. So, command distance, but also with command distance, when I am done putting these guys down, I have to be in command distance here. Now, that's not saying they have to be within 8 inches. This one, 8 inches here, just a normal command distance. As long as you can go from one to the other, just like in a normal game, and they're in command, you're fine. So that's the rule about putting them in at your when you put in ambushes. Remember, once they're gone, whoops, that's the wrong ones. Once they're gone or replaced, these models are not used for the rest of the game. You're now playing with only these guys. Now, there are going to be a few rules about putting them down, and this is a lot to do with like putting down normal ambushes for the most part, because this is a kind of a type of an ambush. So, not within 16 inches of any enemy team in line of sight, unless concealed by terrain. So that sounds very familiar. Within 4 inches of any enemy team. So remember, you can't ambush within 4 inches. So these sounds just like the ambush rules. So you're not able to do an assault from ambush. So you can't go within 4 inches. Also, within 8 inches of a recon team in line of sight, concealed or not. However, if that recon team is like bogged down or bailed out, or if they moved at the double, you can ignore them and put them down as usual, but you still have that not within 16 in line of sight unless concealed, or not within 4 inches, period. Now, I will also say there is a rule that if your security section moved at the double, and you decide, hey, I'm going to bring these guys in, you got a few rules you're going to have to follow. So the rules I just gave, fine. They move normally. You put them in command distance of this location, and they're all within command. When you're done, that's okay. But what happens if your section here moved at the double, and you're wanting to bring these guys in? When you bring them in, they have to come in as reorganizing. Basically, that means that they won't be able to move, dig in, assault, conduct any anti-aircraft fire, or take an objective, because the security section moved at the double. So when they come in, all they're basically going to be able to do is shoot. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, moving at the double in the previous turn. So that's not too bad. Well, we also got a situation that the security section, so let me bring the security section back. This security section was going to get shot at, and they go, ooh, we're going to do that withdrawal, so they have to go to reorganizing. And I talked about that. So when these guys come in to take their place, they are also reorganizing. So now, got one other situation. And that is, these guys are cruising along, and then the opponent goes boom, 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 killed, and took out the commander, so I'm going to mark the commander where he was at. I have to, on my turn, bring these in on ambush when it's revealing ambushes. So I bring these guys in because I lost the commander. So there's no commander now. And remember, I can change out the commander on this. If he gets destroyed and he's in command, he becomes a new commander. So this is when I have no platoon no platoon commander for that security section. When these guys pop in, they are reorganizing. So be careful about losing your security section, because it can make your platoon here less effective. Now they can't move. Where before, they come in during the ambush, and then it comes to movement step, I could move these guys. Now I can't this turn. And I have no choice. I'm going to have to bring him in because I lost my whole security section. Alright, so another twist is coming. And we'll bring out these guys again. So let's say this whole platoon did not move at the double. The only one moved at the double was this one. Well, when I place these guys, if I don't use this as the one that I'm placing near for command, so if I place it between, not between, but I use these, either one of these, for placing these to be in command distance of somebody from the security section, then when I take these guys up, because I did not use that one, that moved at the double, they did not, this one did, I am not reorganizing. So it's only when you're using those ones that are reorganizing or moved at the double that you have to then follow that rule that these guys come in reorganizing. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about is that these guys have been driving around, and then this one gets destroyed, and this one gets destroyed. This one, since there's 2 destroyed, 1 surviving, he's going to take a platoon morale check. I want to say train, so 4+, and I got a 3. So he's taken off table. Oop, there's no one left, so I'm going to have to mark him. And then I get to, on my turn, during the ambush, bring these guys in. But because I lost the commander, they are going to be reorganizing. Now, I am going to take these off so it doesn't get so confusing. Now, these guys are on the table. And then another one gets hit. Well, let's see. I've lost a Jeep. I've lost this, and I've lost that. So I've lost 4, 3 surviving. So that sounds like it's going to be a platoon morale check. No. Once these guys, these tanks are on the board, these I don't count, period, whether they were alive or destroyed. I look at the tank destroyer section. Just like when these were on the table, like this. These were on the table. I didn't count these. I didn't say, oh, I have 7, 2 destroyed. Oh, I'm fine. It's the same thing here. They're different. I look at only this when they're on the table. When they're off the table, I only look at them. So keep that in mind. As far as platoon morale checks, you have to look at what's been on the table. Is it them or them? Don't combine for the check. And also, you notice that when they failed their platoon morale check, I was still able to bring those in. If they're destroyed, failed platoon morale check or anything like that, that does not prevent me from bringing these in. The only thing that's going to prevent me from bringing these in is if the enemy's smart enough to like surround these guys, the security section. Let me get these out of the way. Somehow, they destroy these 2. If my smoke would stay. So they destroyed these 2. This one gets taken up, so I'm going to mark it because it's the commander. If they somehow, the Germans somehow, built enough forces around here where I can't get these guys in, because remember, I can't put within 4 inches of any bad guys. Not within 16 in line of sight unless concealed by terrain, and not within 8 inches of a recon. So if their recon's sitting right around here, your recon's right on top of the spot. There's no way I could put these guys in because I have to be within 6 inches of this. That's within 8 of the recon. These guys then are considered destroyed for the rest of the game. I don't even get to use them. So there are ways, and it's tricky, but there are ways to prevent these guys from coming to the game, period. If the opponent can destroy your security section, where you have to put around this one, and they set up their forces close enough that you can't even place these legally. So that's all I got, and that's the last USA rule as far as recon goes. I am next going to head into the German special rules. Boo, Germany. Oh, the German special rules. So, until next time, have a good game.